You were 7 when you learned that silence screams louder than words. When your mom's mood became a puzzle you had to solve just to feel safe. When keeping everyone calm became your full-time job and being a kid became something you only saw in other people's lives. You didn't choose to grow up lightning fast. You were shoved into a role that never should have existed, and it left scars on your soul that most people will never get. Scars that science is only now starting to decode, not all of them beautiful, but all of them real. So if you were that kid who turned into an adult before your time, this is what that nightmare did to your mind. If this cuts deep already, hit subscribe and leave a comment. You're not fighting this battle alone. Now let's dive in. There's a word for what they did to you. Parentification. It's when a child becomes the therapist for grown-ups who are supposed to protect them. And when this happens while your brain is still forming, it doesn't just wound you. It completely changes how you understand safety, love, and whether you even matter. But here's the twist nobody talks about. That change created something rare inside you. Let me break down what you became. First, you grew what experts call hunter-level empathy. You read people like they're wearing their thoughts on their skin. You step into any space and instantly know who's hurting, who's faking, who needs handling. This isn't some cool gift you wanted. It's a survival tool you were forced to sharpen. Most humans trust words. You learn to decode faces, voice cracks, the silence between breaths. You became a master of hidden pain because your survival meant predicting explosions before they happened. Sure, this makes you an amazing friend, lover, counselor, but it also means you're constantly drained because there's no off switch. You're hunting danger that doesn't exist anymore. You're carrying feelings that were never yours to hold. Your body never figured out the difference between caring and staying alive. Second thing, you're fiercely independent, but not how people assume. You don't reach out because somewhere deep down, you learn that needing anyone is a trap, that opening up means getting left behind. When you were the kid gluing your family together, leaning on someone wasn't allowed. So you built fortress walls so thick even you forgot what's behind them. You became the rock everyone climbs on, but you climb on nothing. And here's the brutal truth. You're not really independent, you're alone. Real independence means choosing when to lean. You lost that choice because childhood taught you that adults break promises, that help comes with strings, that you're solo in this world. Therapists call this fear-based independence disguised as power, and society cheers for it. Look how tough you are, look how you never crack. But being tough without being soft isn't strength. It's armor that's melted into your bones. Third, you're carrying what I call stolen wisdom. People praised you for being wise beyond your years, so grown up, so capable. But that wisdom wasn't earned naturally. It was ripped from the childhood you deserved. You learned to talk like you were 30, think like you were 40, comfort like you were 50. But buried under that mask, there's still a kid who never got to be silly, to mess up without consequences, to exist without pressure crushing their chest. And now as a grown-up, something feels off. You can juggle enormous stress, handle complicated emotions, crush work deadlines, but simple happiness feels weird. Playing feels fake. Resting feels like failing because your nervous system only knows one speed, full throttle. Scientists call this skipped development. You jumped over stages you desperately needed and there's no rewind button, but you can mourn what got stolen. And in mourning, you start taking back the pieces you threw away. Fourth thing, your boundaries swim in shame. Even today, saying no feels like you're hurting someone. Creating space feels selfish. Putting yourself first feels like betrayal, because when you were small, your limits were constantly trampled. Your needs were annoying. Your emotions were excessive. So you learned to disappear, to bend, to make yourself invisible enough that maybe you'd finally be worth loving. This creates what shrinks call boundary breakdown. You can't figure out where you stop and others start. You soak up their DS, their chaos, their burdens, then secretly hate them for it, even though you never drew a line. But listen closely. Boundaries aren't brick walls. They're not coldness. They're the holy ground where you finally exist without performing, without rescuing, without vanishing. And holding them without drowning in guilt is one of the toughest battles you'll face. But it's how you escape survival mode forever. And the rarest piece of all, you carry what some call the seer's burden. You notice things regular people walk past, patterns, suffering, possibilities. You grasp human pain at a level that can't be taught in school because you lived through hell. You survived the fire. You recognize when someone's faking fine, You hear the silent screams nobody else catches. You became a translator of agony, because you had to translate your own just to make it through each day. This makes you powerful in ways most will never touch, but it also means you absorb everything. You wear other people's pain like a second skin. You see the wounded child hiding inside every damaged adult, and sometimes you forget to see yourself. So here's what you need to hear. You don't owe anyone stewing. You don't owe anyone understanding. You don't have to dig through every person's trauma who walks into your life. You can choose yourself first, hold your own heart, finally be the one who protects that child you used to be. If these words hit home, understand this. You're not damaged goods. You're not overwhelming. You're someone who survived hell itself. And those traits that feel like weights, they're also proof you're still breathing, still growing, still capable of radical change. That child deserved so much more. The adult you are now deserves peace. And healing isn't about erasing memories. It's about letting that kid finally feel safe. You grew up in fast forward, but growth never stops. And this time, you control the speed.